Shivaham. We have been discussing Patanjali Sutras on yoga, and we are on Sutra number 19. So, previous sutras, please refer to the commentary on YouTube if it is available. Most of it is available. Go to the playlist, listen. Those who are joining for the first time, please go and listen to those and get the understanding. We are discussing Samadhi, and we have almost covered that. Types of Samadhi divided into two groups, Samprajnat, Samprajnat. Samadhi in the domain of Prakriti and Samadhi in the domain of Purush. Let us be clear that system of yoga is based on philosophy of Sankhya, and therefore they do not have 36 tattvas. They only have 25 tattvas, and therefore 24 tattvas belong to Prakriti, including Prakriti itself, which is 24 tattva, and 25th is Purush, the consciousness, the Chaitanya. Yoga believes in the philosophy of one soul per body. It does not lead to Advaita, and therefore yoga as a discipline gives lot of capacities in individuals. Those are known as siddhis or vibhutis. And these siddhis or vibhutis, however big they may be, they're still limited because they can never match the infinite which Advait philosophy and other system of Shaivism which we are actually following, profess. And as such also, anyone sitting on this planet Earth having kind of unimaginable powers also would not be able to create the whole cosmic dance which is happening around on his own. So therefore, we need to understand that yoga is definitely a very important step. In fact, even Kashmir Shaivism is called a Yoga Marga. It is also referred to as Siddha Marga. Why? Because this also deals with the tattvas. And there are siddhas in the system of Tantra also. Siddhas and yoginis, we know that. And they will have to be there because if someone has not gone beyond Maya, beyond Kanchukas, let's say one has overcome one's own Prakriti, then definitely that person is blessed with or endowed with lot of powers. However, once a person starts moving beyond Kanchukas, the reality, the higher reality or the truer reality is revealed. And that is why there comes a stage when the practitioner and the cosmic consciousness becomes one. And then there remains no doubt about the fact that there is only one consciousness which is getting reflected or getting operating through all the bodies all through. So this should be clear. So those people who are following even the Shaivite system, the Shakta system, they're also following the similar process of yoga. Why? Because they are also dealing in philosophically, if you see, they're also going through karmendriyas, gyanendriyas, manabuddhi, ahankar, etc. And then finally they reach Prakriti, then they try to overcome Prakriti, get into that self-realization, then the stabilization in the realization, self-stabilization, stabilization in the self. From there begins another journey, which is penetration of Panchukas. So if someone has crossed over 24 tattvas or is about to cross 24th, what we call Prakriti, then that person will have lot of powers. And as we have already discussed in our Shiva Sutras, etc., that we have yoginis and siddhas in this tradition of Tantra. There is, of course, a Guru Mandala. Now, let me also clarify that the Guru Mandala are not the fallen souls. They are the souls who have probably chosen to stay here because of their some limited, positive, very affirmative and very benevolent raga to pull out so-called these individual reflections from the illusion they are suffering. So that is the reason. And am not saying that all of siddhas are realized into a dvait of kind of experience. Many siddhas may not be, and therefore there's this natural tendency of getting some sort of raga towards the dvaita. So our Guru Mandala, whenever you are coming across any of such souls, of course they are very high souls, very benevolent souls, much higher than what we are. But if you ask, have they come to that realization of oneness, then I would say probably not. Or maybe they have occasionally gone to transcended Kanchukas and have been able to establish themselves in some of the states which we have defined as Ishvara, Sadashiva, Shiva Shakti, etc. But they have not been able to stay there because of their vasanas or their raga. Understand? So even when you have recognized yourself, which you, I'll give you example for that to make it clearer. When you attend a discourse, there are moments when you probably get the glimpse of who you really are, is it not? And a clear moment of truth for you. I don't feel as if I am the body. Also, that I am the seer of my mind, etc. But are you stabilized there? That's the problem. In the same way, Siddhas who have crossed over Kanchukas, maybe even crossed Raga, and may have crossed Maya also, but because they have not been able to stabilize there, a little bit vasana left, they come back and operate through Kanchukas. And those Siddhas who operate through Kanchukas, primarily first two Kanchukas are completely gone for such Siddhas, Niyati and Kala. So they wish to stay, they can stay forever there till this cosmic play continues. And wherever they want, they can present themselves because they are already beyond certain Kanchukas. Kala, Raga is something, but the last two Kanchukas, Kala and Raga, these are the two Kanchukas which are difficult, very difficult to cross over. And occasionally you can be free of Raga, occasionally you can be free of your Anuta, that individuality, and we experience oneness with this infinite conscious presence which Shiva is, or which the Mahashakti or Paramashakti is. But as our hidden tendencies, sanskaras, unresolved issues connect with the world, certain unfulfilled desires, howsoever benevolent they may be, they will definitely gravitate our consciousness towards Prakriti. So that's the reason. Understood? So Yoga Marga, Siddha Marga, Shaiva Marga, they all are same. But don't think that those who are given Mahavakyas, Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi, etc., Prajnanam Brahma, etc., that necessarily mean that if they follow that path, they will realize Advaita. In fact, we are clearer as a Shakta or as a Shaiva person about how many stages they have to cross over in order to actually realize that oneness. So maybe in Advaita philosophy, also they will cross through all this, but they don't have intellectual understanding of all this. And therefore, we would say that the journey is this only. You may say that there are 24 steps, somebody will say 36 steps. But when we say 24 steps to realize Purusha, then of course, their understanding will be biggest hurdle. If you have accepted one soul per body, definitely you would not move beyond it, is it not? Because you are not aiming at it at all. You are only into your endeavor of self-realization, is it not? So that's only the limitation of our Jnanam part. If we have understood better, we will be able to go more on to any path for for that matter. That sometimes we say, "Arey, hame to pata hi nahi tha. I did not know. In my times, there was no one to guide that there are such courses in technology or something more I could do. I could study in that direction. I could have become something else." You see, only because you did not know, you could not achieve. Only because you did not know, by the limitation of your understanding, you could not achieve. So, if you have accepted one soul per body, of course, Advaita, you will not be able to achieve because your whole principle, whole understanding will become a barrier. So, coming to Sampragyat and Asampragyat Samadhi, the Sampragyat Samadhi and Asampragyat Samadhi. Asampragyat Samadhi is the one which is absorption of consciousness in anything other than self. It may be mind, it may be intellect, it may be ego, it may be just your own presence, which is called Asmita, it may be Ananda, but not the self. It may be any tattva, it may be any karmendriyas, jnanendriya, it may be any object in the outer world, it may be anything for that matter. It may be a celestial body, your absorption with that will be coming in the category of asampragnat samadhi. And there will be only one samadhi which can liberate you as per this philosophy, which is absorption in self, which we are. So let us now move towards other sutras. So let me give the background of 18 first, and then we will move to 19. 18th sutra says, Virama pratyaya abhyasa purva sanskara shesho anya. It says that there is it is talking about that kind of samadhi which is absorption in self. It says there is another samadhi which is attained by the constant endeavor and practice of creating a void in your mind, which is cessation of all the mental activity, in which only chittam remains. Now, when your activity of mind has stopped completely, that does not mean that there is no mind. Mind continues to exist. For example, if you, in reality, I'm not talking about philosophically, but suppose you turn your attention from someone and put your attention to something else, for that time, that much time, that person does not exist for you. But as soon as you turn your attention back, the person is there. Correct. Because he is anyways there. In the same way, if activity has stopped, that does not mean that mind has completely vanished as an entity. The chittam has vanished because chittam is that substratum on which these three, buddhi, that intellect, mind, mana, and ego, ahankara, is born. So chittam remains. So that means if I am saying that there are three different kind of variations of one single thing, and these three things which are the variation or the offshoot of one single substratum, they are capable of collecting something, some impressions by that activity. So where will those activities and those impressions will be collected? They will be collected in the substratum itself, is it not? Mind will do its job. It's a function of chittam, but this function will create something which can be stored. For example, we have these many organs, okay, and we have something called the reservoir within us, which is called a smriti or memory. Each one of these organs engages in different kind of activity, but who is the collector and ultimate receiver or reservoir of all the impressions which are getting collected by these? So it is not the hand which stores the touch, it is you in the chittam which is storing that touch as a memory. Yes or no? So hand is doing its job, and hand is your manifestation, eyes are your manifestation, ears are your manifestation, or rather, we would say there are so many things which are just the manifestation of I, this self, is it not? I am ear, I am eyes, I am lips, I am hands, I am leg, and everything, whatever is surrounding me. This is expression of the single I. But I cannot say that I will not suffer because of these variations. Why? Because whatever is done by the hand, suppose hand touches something very hot, then the reflex will be suffered by or experienced by eye. Not hand is just the means, but at the end, who suffers? I suffer. If my eyes see something, then eyes will not enjoy it. I will enjoy it. So that way, everything I'm experiencing or gaining through these senses, where is that going to get stored? In my own reservoir of experiences, which is called smriti, memory. Where is this memory? Memory is in the chitta. While we can resolve many things which are currently lying dormant in our chittam, which is our, of course, the substratum, the consciousness along with its smriti. Let's call it a smriti. This smriti is where it is in chittam. Currently, we are not accessing all that which is available in our chittam, because this chittam is that substratum which is always associated with self, the sense of self, that sense of limited individuality. So suppose you get to a capacity, you gain that kind of capacity, you get to that stage where you are able to actually go deeper in your own chittam, let's say, then what will happen? Then there will be many more memories you can access. Those kind of memories which are not pertaining to your experiences of this current lifetime. That is also a possibility. And this possibility, to some extent, only in a small percentage sometimes, is utilized by the so called hypnotists. Those hypnotists are capable of putting your mind to either engaged in singular activity or the mental cessation of its regular activity, because you are seeing, observing that your mind is running here and there. Suppose somebody through some instructions is able to give you that kind of a state where your mind follows the command rather than running here and there, then under the controlled conditions I'm not saying you might become capable of investigating your own chittam, because your mind is not engaged in thousand things. It is just following the instructions of the person who is giving you command. So what will happen? You may probably get deeper into your own chittam and may explore unmanifested or dormant impressions which are lying underneath. That is called past life regression. You see, it cannot be explained otherwise. If there is a past life and that can be accessed, and by the way, not one or two, many siddhas and enlightened masters have given the accurate account of the so many past lives. Now, how they could give it? Because they spent so much time in investigating this thing which is called chitta. Now, you say, so does that mean every enlightened person will be able to give the account of all past lives he has gone through by now? No. Why? Because he is just not interested in anything which is lying dormant here, but rather he is not interested in chitta. He is interested in chiti. Okay. Chiti means the real quality which gives this chitta the capacity to engage, experience, respond, store, etc. So what will happen then? This whole substratum called chittam will fall apart and chiti will remain. That means the consciousness will remain. What we call sambit will remain. And in that case, since he has not dwelled into it, he will not be able to tell anything. That's not necessary also, because once you have recognized that these impressions are anyways not the part of real self which I am, they are just the part of this thing, this entity which is called chitta, which is again root of mind or the chittam. Chitti is its root. So the branches, leaves, etc., all are getting nourishment from where? They are getting nourishment from the root. The root of Chittam is Chitti. Understand? If you don't engage in the investigation of Chittam and you directly jump to Chitti, you may not know about it. And probably that is not the goal also. So many masters would recommend that don't become so much interested in investigation of your Chittam, rather just be in the effulgence of self, the divine radiance of self. Get to that kind of absorption where you are not even investigating Chittam. You are rather taking a quantum jump, moving away from all that connects you to the outer. Because Chittam is that entity which has two ends. On one end, it is connected to Chitti, which is the real power of the Chaitanya or the Purusha. On the other hand, it is connected to Buddhi, it is connected to Mana, it is also its ego. All those things are also in that substratum. So maybe you become interested in these functionalities, you will miss the roots, you'll miss the other end. So if you spend a lot of time investigating Chittam, it is a possibility. Definitely, you can also know. Buddha could tell about more than 30 lifetimes. Mahavir also told more than that. I mean, 100 lifetimes. Even today, if you go to that system of Buddhism, some traditions of lamas, etc., they will also be able to tell. Why? Because they have taken it as a task to investigate. They have mastered that art, or probably they have already taken a detour. They spend a lot of time investigating the Chittam itself. Why? Because that gives them the sense, and probably that is what most of people ask. Sometimes people ask, Acharya would I remember in my next life? Suppose I am not able to achieve that highest goal in this life itself. Would I remember it in the next life? Hmm? That I was doing so and so sadhana, I missed it that time, and therefore I should do it again with more sincerity, eh? All that. But see, that is the only goal there. But look at it. Even if that continuity is there, if suppose you recognize the smriti, that yes, last time I missed, but do you know why you missed? You only missed because of not getting to complete dispassion and lack of discipline, which is abhyas and vairagya. Last time you missed because of lack of vairagya. Even if you remember that you were doing so and so sadhana, but then you will also remember that you were enjoying a great life in the last birth, right? And you had so many people to deal with. And probably you may also have this feeling that there are so many scores to be settled because I remember all of that. All that also probably will come to your notice, is it not? Will it be or you will go through a selective recall? No, that doesn't happen. Smriti or no Smriti. Why other systems are ignoring it altogether? They say, we don't believe whether, every time you're attempting, it's a fresh attempt. Why? Even in this life, look at your own journey so far. Even in this life, after attending to some discourses or probably arriving here in Tattva Shakti Vigyan, listening to so many great words coming from the great masters of the ancient times, you have understood it well, right? But have you been able to change your ways? That's the problem. Are you not aware that all the events so far has not given you complete satisfaction, stable joy, has taken away fear of death? Have you not recognized it? So whether you are aware of 100 lifetimes or this lifetime itself, that does not mean that qualitatively nothing changes, because you will live and you had been living this type of life, this type of attitude you had been carrying, all of us probably had been carrying through the chain, the series of lifetimes. So that's the problem. Would we ever be able to come out? Can you decide on some day that, okay, enough is enough. Now I would not give attention to anything of this world and I'm only interested in myself. The more you know, the more you get entangled. People say that if I know my last life and this life and past two lives, probably I'll become more freer. I can tell you with the current kind of attitude and your ways are such that probably you'll be more entangled rather than becoming freer. And that is why I said occasionally PLR is a real recall. Otherwise, it is only self-made up solution because you intended to do PLR only for the purpose of resolving some issue of your life. So you'll say, okay, I saw that and therefore I have learned a lesson, I have become free. I have a perennial hatred for somebody. Why am I having it? I just want to know. So you enter into PLR and you under the guidance of somebody else, you absorb into the investigation of Chittam. No. You just your whole intellect, the whole substratum starts working on the issue at hand, which you have which you have placed in front of it. What is that issue? Why I have a perennial hatred or some kind of dislike, unexplained dislike for such and such person. What will be the result? The result will be your own shakti will give you some solution for it. Understand? And that solution may not be necessarily something which is from past life, etc. It will create an imagery for you so that you can come out of it. Because now you have given, surrendered to your own powers to give you solutions, which is the highest power you have in this life. What is the highest power? The power of self. So please look at that. Our system, where we are discussing tattvas and then the level of realizations, then our journey through Kanchukas, the ultimate goal of recognizing Advaita in this world, it says, don't pay so much attention to this life, that life, past life, next life. Why? Because with the current temperament, the kind of temperament we have as of now, if you know two lifetimes prior to your this lifetime, you're going to become more puzzled. You'll suffer more. Definitely, you'll suffer because now it's not the suffering of one lifetime only. You are unable to cope with all the wisdom downpouring on your head and thrice a week. You are not able to deal with it. The sufferings and the lessons of this lifetime, you're not able to deal with it. You are not able to cope with it. But you are insisting that I must know three lifetimes more. Will it solve your problem? In any case, think about it and then you'll realize why in our system we do not give so much importance and attention and so much, effort to this investigation of Chittam. We are not interested. Why? Because the Chittam, any impression here will be of what? Of this multiplicity, of this external world, of this objective world. And that simply means now we are again investigating Prakriti only. So you will definitely continue to do so. Never ending process probably. Because in one lifetime you have limited capacity. Suppose you recognize that I have been able to recall 100 lifetimes. I'll give you one example and then you will understand. There was this great man called Dhritarashtra in Mahabharata. He is one character. You know what? He remembered his previous 100 lives. But tell me, could he change his ways? Could he change his attitude after knowing the journey of 100 lives also? All available in the backdrop for you to consider for your perusal, etc. View, review, everything, rewind, wind, everything. Still, what he was doing? he was still behaving unjustly. He was wanting that this kingdom should be given to my son. You see, you understood what it means. And the story will be really detour, so I'm not getting into it. But the question he had asked that to Sri Krishna, why will he ask Krishna about this question? Because from the mouth of Sanjaya, who had been blessed with the divine vision, had seen this whole Mahabharata, the whole Kurukshetra war, right? This battle which was there, and in that Sanjay had also mentioned about the Virat Swarup of he has described it of Krishna. So he recognized Krishna as the God incarnate. So he comes forward and asks this question, surrendering at Krishna, and asks Krishna, I remember my 100 lifetimes. I have not done such a thing, which will give me this result of me being blind and my sons being killed while I am still alive. What is general progression? Son should remain alive while parents depart. Yes or no? This is the normal. Don't expect otherwise. Otherwise, it will be a problem. So this question was asked, and then Krishna replied. And the story is longer, so I'm not getting there. But Krishna replied that yes, Dhritarashtra, you do remember 100 lifetimes, but I'll tell you about the 101st lifetime. In that lifetime, then again he begins the story. You had done so and so. So, will it resolve? No, it will not. Knowing more will resolve? No, it will not. Because knowing anything other than you, the real self, will not resolve it. The final resolution is recognizing and knowing your own true self. Anything other than that, even system of yoga says so. That look, sampragyata sampragyat, that samadhi, which is absorption into Prakriti, is not advisable. Even Patanjali says it's an inferior samadhi. It will not reveal your true nature, your true swarupa to you. And it will give siddhis. Siddhis are what? Siddhis are those kind of extraordinary accomplishments which ordinary people are not able to do. For example, you are not able to tell about your past life. That yogi will tell. With accuracy, he will tell. This is a siddhi. But has this siddhi been given any kind of impetus to that revelation of the true self? No, not at all. So even Patanjali kind of dissociates himself by saying so, but he has not dissociated completely. Why? Because he cannot. Once he has described these kind of samadhi, savitarka, savichara, sananda, sasmita, etc., then he will have to give the results of it. And those results are given in Vibhuti part of this scripture. Those are the accomplishments, siddhis of such yogis who have spent their life investigating these 24 tattvas rather than being absorbed in their self. Understand? So the Vibhuti Pada is about this samadhi where your chittam, your consciousness is absorbed in something other than self. Understood now? So wherever you see siddhi, powers, miracles, etc., they are about that kind of samadhi which prohibits the practitioner to know his true being. Understand? And here in this sutra, 18th sutra, Virama Pratyaya Abhyasa Purvaha Sansakara Shesho Anyah, here it is said that if you are absorbed in your true self, that is also a samadhi. What this samadhi will do? This samadhi over time, after few years, maybe few months, maybe few days, maybe, will dissolve the hidden, the subtle, the dormant impressions of chitta chittam. That means it will clear the clutter which you carry. How it will be cleared? Because you are now the source of divine light. You are one with yourself. You are seated in your own being, in your Chaitanya. From there, you are having that radiance that is clearing every clutter around you. So those sanskara shesho, those sanskar, those impressions, those vasanas, those dormant issues will be dissolved slowly and slowly. You don't have to actually resolve it like that person had cheated me. I don't know what, because for what reason, for which lifetime's reason that person cheated me. You know, and I will forgive. This is the conscious effort. So those many things, if you go deeper into your own conscious, chittam consciously, then you will recognize so many things are not resolved. I can tell you, even today, go back and find out how many thoughts are unresolved. Even today, you might be having something, oh, how do I change this? Oh, how could I do something better here? So many things. Go from morning. Oh, I don't know why my this desire is not getting fulfilled. This is again an impression. Though revised, though repeated, but it is an impression. Is it resolved? No, not resolved. So something which is not resolved, if it occurs to you only once and then it never occurs to you, then also it is stored here. It is stored in your substratum, in chittam, as a smriti. But if you remember it every day, issue not resolved, issue not resolved, issue not resolved, means what? You are just increasing the population of unresolved bits and bytes there. So whenever they will get opportunity, they will pop up. This is a catch-22 situation. Even for that noble intention of forgiving, we do not have to go through and relive that simply. And that is why in this system it is said, even in yoga it is said, in our system it is said, don't engage yourself in all this. That means what? Don't try to forgive. Do it moment by moment. Don't try to go into past and do in that at all. If you are interested, something is bothering you too much, there are ways and techniques to resolve it. But this lifetime itself is enough for you to deal with it. At least you will be able to create a state of mind which is well under control. An environment which is sthira sukham. What is the reason of your dukkham or suffering? Unresolved issues. So those are your problems. And system of yoga in the 18th sutra says, forget about getting into the absorption of even manabuddhi ahankar. Just somehow create a ground, create a base from where you can take a jump into your own being. This is perfect, a state to be in, and this is known as asamprajñat samadhi. Okay. So all of us are interested in what? We begin with samprajñat. Definitely we begin with samprajñat. How? Because even in our systems, you will be given deities, you will be given mantras, you will be given some upasana. Upasana is about that. Absorption into mantra, absorption into deity. But mantra should point towards chittam itself. That's the goal. The mantra should become the chittam. For example, I say, I'm giving a meditation. Suppose you have never seen ocean, you have never seen water bodies, and I introduce you to that and say, meditate on these waves. Then the true nature of the waves will be revealed someday. And you start meditating, let those waves be your mantra. Because mantra also rises and falls, rises and falls, rises and falls. Yes or no? Mantra is also a word which is rising in the chittam and then falls back to chittam. This is how mantra works. This is how any sound works. Mantra is also a sound. Of course, a specially designed sound, but it is also a sound. Let's not take away that right from mantra. Mantra is also a sound. So Mantra rises from the silence of Chittam and then over and stays in your level at your level of mind for some time and then goes back to Chittam, silence again. So in the same way, when you will meditate on waves for certain times, then you recognize, oh my God, there are no waves because the wave becomes the ocean. The next moment, the ocean becomes the wave. Someday it will be realized, not the same day. You see, if you are given this practice, meditate on waves, it is quite natural for most of us to continue to meditate on waves and never arrive at this conclusion that the wave is not a phenomenon, it's only ocean. In the same way, when we are given a mantra, when we are doing any sadhana, and these are the higher stages of sadhana, not just at the beginning of Pratham Koti, Dvitiya Koti, but it may happen anytime, God's grace, you never know. But our goal is what? Goal is to reach the state of Chittam. And occasionally you may reach also, even if you are in Pratham Koti, Dvitiya Koti, Tritiya Koti, does not matter. Whether you have been given Krama Diksha or you have not received Krama Diksha, it may still happen. Why? Because ultimately every mantra arises from Chittam and goes back to Chittam. Whether it is a Bijakshar pertaining to any deity or it is any long mantra of a deity or the one seed letter for any tattva, or one seed letter for anything. It rises from the Chittam, it goes back to Chittam. So, Shiva Sutra in the Shaktopaya, the first sutra itself says Chittam Mantra. You see. Now, understood? Chittam Mantra. What is mantra? Chittam Mantra. What is wave? Ocean is wave. Or other way around you can say, wave is ocean. When we say wave is ocean, it's a different understanding. Wave is ocean means wave is of importance to you. When you say ocean is wave, ocean is of importance to you. Your focus is on ocean here. When you say ocean is wave. When I say wave is ocean, so that means you are still observing wave only. And occasionally you know that wave is ocean. See, this is a subtle statement. You would recognize its depth only if you actually try to give it a thought. Try to say it on your own. Say it. Both seem to be same, na? Ocean is wave, and then second statement is wave is ocean. Think about it and see the kind of difference in your inner environment or the recognition or the revelation which comes through it. It will have a different sort of environment when you say wave is ocean and when you say ocean is wave. In the first mantra itself, in the first sutra itself, in Shiva Sutra, it says Atma. And then third, Atma Chittam. You see, in Adamapaya it is said, Atma Chittam. You are focused in Atma. Which Atma? The one which you think you are, and Chittam is the larger substratum for you. Is it not? You must understand that. Atma Chittam. Atma, which I know myself as, that is Atma as of now. Then say Chittam. Chittam means that from where this recognition comes as my own individuality. So you focused on Atma, Advopaya, Atma Chittam. They are not Atma of the real Atma. I'm not talking. Chaitanyam Atma is something else. Chaitanyam Atma. Falling to that state where we are saying Atma Chittam. One state, ocean is wave. The other is wave is ocean. Is it not? Understood or not? That way. In the same way, so when you continue to focus and get into that practice of self-absorption, which is the ultimate goal of the system of yoga, and using these methodologies, we also have a method. Every system has a method. So let's not get into the evaluation or comparison of the methods. Simply understand the methods are meant to give you this understanding that you alone are real other things are not as real as you. It is just your experience. The experiencer is real, the experience is not real. Or even if it is not, it is not of consequence, because the experience may come and go, but you will not. Why it is not? Even if it is real, how does it matter? Because now it is there and tomorrow it will not be there. So, is the experience real or the experiencer real? Is the experience of value or the experiencer of? Well, of course, we'll say experiencer is of value. So, even if both are real, no problem. Even if we say I am real, the experiences are real, it is leading to the same conclusion. Same conclusion. There's no change. In our systems, we don't say this is unreal. We say it is real. But does it make any difference? The experience is also Chaitanyam. All it is also Chaitanya. Does it make any difference? No, because we are all bogged down by only one thing, and that is this change, and I'm not at ease and peace forever. This is what. So experience will of course be change, even if it is real. It's a change, nothing else. But the experiencer always at kutastha, what we call. Right? It's just there, like the axle of a wheel. Wheel continues to revolve, axle never does. Axle is there. And without this axle, wheel cannot revolve also. That's the issue. If it does not have a center, it will not be able to revolve. So, in the same way, without you, the experience cannot happen. Who is of more importance? Self. So, with your own presence itself, the experiencer, all the experiences, good or bad, are going to get resolved over time. How they will get resolved? I have told you. Someday you will recognize if the waves are big or small, does it make any difference to the ocean? If waves happen very quickly or they don't happen, so I mean they happen after a long intervals, is it there is any change or any loss to so-called ocean? If there is wave, is there any gain to ocean? If there is no wave, is there any loss to ocean? And over time, this understanding comes. And that is how your sanskara, shesha sanskara, means even after recognizing yourself, even after being one with yourself, your sanskara remains. Your ashuddhis remain. Your impurities remain. And that is why in Tattva Shakti Vigyan we always say, भाई इसको दोनों तरफ से साफ करो, clean it from both the sides. प्रकृति से प्रकृति को साफ करो और स्व के संसर्ग से भी इसको साफ करो. ठीक है, दोनों तरफ से साफ करो. Let this cleanliness come. Let's move to next sutra. The next sutra is Bhava Pratyayo Videha Prakriti Layanam. Bhava Pratyayo. Pratyay. You know Pratyay? Pratyay is something which is added to the original word. In grammar, you will define Pratyay like this, and every Pratyay tends to give a new meaning or new tonality to the original word. Yes or no? That is how Pratyay works. So, Bhava Pratyayo Videha Prakriti Layanam. What is the most complicated or problematic Pratyay we all have added to our own true self? That is called Bhava. For example, when you were not born, and suppose your mother was waiting for you, and she would go and touch the feet of elderly in her family, everybody will say, Utravati Bhava. Now, when this Bhava happened, and Bhava actually gotten added to put in this lady, what she became? She became a mother. And what happened further, just analyze. As a woman, she was freer, but as a mother, she is more tied to now, tied to the Prakriti. Suppose somebody says, gives you a blessing, Ashirvad, Vijayi Bhava. After you have conquered, you have become emperor. Now, becoming emperor is an achievement. It's a loss to self. Why not? Let me explain. Because as an ordinary, you are not concerned with this, the whole kingdom, how it is running, how the discipline needs to be maintained, how people need to be disciplined, how taxes are to be collected, how social schemes are to be run. But when you Vijay Bhava, the day you acquired it, what has happened? It has tied you more to the Prakriti. So those who are left with little bit of bhava pratyaya, and now why bhava is so much important. That is why this experience of world is also called a bhava sagar. Okay, it is bhava sagar. It's ocean of possibilities of bhava. That is why it is bhava sagar. You can become rather than being. You become. That's the problem. We just don't want to be. We are always in the process or in the aspirations of becoming. As you say, becoming, it's a never ending journey. You'll always want to become something. Even now, the problem is you all want to become enlightened. You just don't want to be. Now recognize, even if you want to become enlightened, you're still the part of Bhavasagar only, because you're out of million possibilities, you have chosen one more. Now you want to become enlightened. By the way, nobody becomes enlightened. You are already the source of light. You are already enlightened. Only you recognize that you are enlightened. If you just be, you are already enlightened. Understood? But it is a problem. We just cannot be. We'll always become. And becoming at many levels. Not that. And this is not that mother, father, teacher, healer, not that. We become at many. We become. See, we are this. We become the body. It is becoming. Being is not the body. The body was available. The being, by the process of becoming, has now become the body. Being becomes the mind. Being becomes the ego. Being becomes the intellect. Being becomes tattvas. Being becomes the world. Because becoming never ends. You can never end this disease called becoming. The day you have ended this, the day some vaccination comes, I don't know when it will come, but scientists are working on that, that if you give a jab, you will not be in that race anymore. And that will be the moment of self-realization. I don't want to become anything. I just want to be. And you know what meditation is? And you know what samadhi is? And you know what self-realization is? And you know when it is gained? When you do not want to become. You just be. All efforts in being. So if bhava pratyaya remains, means this disease, this virus of becoming remains, let's say, even after you become capable of self absorption, still this one virus remains. You had already gotten a jab of Vairagya, Abhyas, etc. You worked hard, you killed all the viruses. There were billions and trillions. You have killed every, but there is one virus left. Let's say something. Then what will happen? How will this person become free? There's a no. Bhava pratyayo videha prakriti layanam. Videha means the one which is beyond the body, that is being. Again, prakriti layanam gets immersed into, gets dissolved into Prakriti. That means it comes back to Prakriti again. What is that Prakriti? You become God. You become Siddha. You become this, you become that. Understand? But you don't become completely free from becoming. You can become God. You can become anything, which you most of us say, more divine, more powerful, more charitable, more benevolent, more healing, more light. But no, becoming. It's not being. For example, in Hindi we say मनुष्य अच्छे कर्म करके देवता बन सकता है. अरे भाई, बन सकता है का तो प्रॉब्लम है, बनना ही तो नहीं है. हमें ना देवता बनना है ना दानव बनना है, बनना नहीं है, बस हमें होना है. It is said that by your own good karmas you can become godlike. You can become a god yourself. You can become an embodiment of God. You can become a great soul. You don't want to become great soul. If the soul can never be great, or soul is soul. Being is being. So, being, if some residue of becoming is left, as a leftover, it remains. By even following all the details, all the steps of this Patanjali Sutras or system of yoga, Vairagya has come. Acharya complete Vairagya has come, but I can't leave my profession, which I am into. Now, this becoming, being and becoming is a problem. This becoming will again pull you back into Prakriti. Videha, the one which you are, Prakriti Layana. Again it will get dissolved in Prakriti. Again it will merge in Prakriti. Again it will manifest itself in Prakriti. It can never become. Bhava Pratyayo Videha Prakriti Layana. Acharya ji, I can do everything. But you see, as a mother, I am so much concerned about my son. Okay, Bhava Pratyaya, you want to remain mother? Okay, blessed. You will become mother and again, mother. Millions of lifetimes, mother. Till the time you drop this. Acharya ji, ये तो ठीक है. I don't know. I can't. How can I drop the responsibility of my own kids? Okay, continue to become parent. Wow. Now, Acharya ji, I know in my own individual capacity, I have not been able to do good to the society. This itself is enough. You're into self-absorption. You're transported to become a devata, a god. Now, your only job is to give. That is why it is called devata, dena, the one who gives. So devata is the one who only gives much more than what you actually offer. He is into business of giving. So devata means a businessman whose balance sheet is only in giving. Okay, no credits, only debits. Because this kind of bhava, I want to be good, I want to be noble, I want to be charitable, I want to be helping, okay, become now. I want to be, want to be much, I want to become good, I want to become charitable. Okay, this is bhava pratyaya. Understand what bhava pratyaya is? Bhava pratyayo videha prakriti layana. This videha, which could have been completely free from the body experience itself and would have probably gotten rooted in that being itself, because there is some leftover of becoming such a person, such a soul, such a packet of consciousness will again get merged into Prakriti, means again he will be born. He will not be free from this attachment of the world. So Bhava Pratyayo Videha Prakriti Layanam is the 19th Sutra. Let's move to other one. If you have any other, Shraddha Veer, the 20th Sutra. Shraddha Veerya Smriti Samadhi Pragya Purvak Itaresha. So when you go into meditation trying to become something, even becoming enlightened is also, you probably must have added some imagery. If you have not, then tell me. Becoming enlightenment, getting enlightenment. Have you ever imagined about what it is like? how I will be when I am enlightened. Or else, whatever you want to do, then if you say, no, I don't know, I just want to anand, I want this. Well, you are already in that some pragya samadhi, where it is savichar, savitark, sasmita, sananda. I just want anand. I want whenever you want, even if you want bliss. Samprajñat. What is bliss? Now let me tell you what is bliss. The ordinary definition of bliss is very positive, affirmative. But the real definition of bliss is ignorance. I'm talking from the side of Jiva, not from the side of God. For the Jiva, the bliss is ignorance. How? The bliss is where nothing affects me, as if I have become completely numb. Nothing disturbs me, as if I have developed the capacity to absorb all words falling on my eardrums, still not comprehend anything out of it. For us, what is bliss? Ignorance. So, as a jiva, as a being, as a person who has a name, who has a form, who has a relationship, who has a business, who has a profession, who has a intention, whatever, as an individual, your ananda is about being ignorant of the pains of the world, of the body, of the mind. And that state you will call it is bliss. And that is what you always say. I slept blissfully. What is bliss? For the moment when I took a puff cocaine, I was transported to another world, which probably is of my dream. Something which I became unaware of this world, ignorant of this world. I started experiencing something else. So this larger ignorance, because this world is too big, and the world which you experience in your dream is never in your world. In your dreams, have you ever seen the cosmic expanse on all the sides? Tell me, how many of you have seen that in your dream you were sitting looking at the sky and thinking and contemplating how big this cosmos is? Any one of you, please, if you have ever had this kind of dream, please do that. That I, in my dream, was sitting and looking at the sky and looking around, and I was thinking how big this sky is and how little I am. Where does this end? Have you ever seen any such dream? No, not possible. Why? Because your dream world is very small. So your world of imagination is very small. The one which is induced by drugs and all, it's so small a world. So what you are doing in turn, basically by taking some intoxicant, is that you're becoming unaware of the larger reality and absorbed in the smaller reality which is available for you. That's it. So there ignorance is bliss. Anywhere, the larger the ignorance, for the jiva, for the ordinary, it is more bliss. True or not? Look at your own experience. Don't go by the words of the books. Mein kya likha hai, what is there in scriptures, what masters say, which sutra we are referring to, where in Gita we find it. Sit by yourself. Sit by your experiences, your direct experiences, and then start contemplating on it. Is it this way? He says, Shraddha, Virya, Smriti, Samadhi, Pragya, Purvaka, Itarisha. So if you are not into any kind of becoming, the desire of becoming, attaining, achieving, if you are not, and there are other subjects, like if you are going into your samadhi, in your absorption, which is coming through shraddha, that's a state of being, not becoming. Okay? Shraddha is a state of being, not becoming. Putting your, virya means shakti, that energy which you are, the energy which is the creator of the whole world. Smriti, Smriti is not the memory of others, Smriti of self. See, all we have lost is Smriti of self. Other Smritis are there. The true Smriti of self is not there. Who am I is not known. Everything else is known. So true Smriti means Smriti. So, if you are trying to achieve this samadhi, not in an attitude of becoming something, becoming enlightened, gaining more knowledge, I will do this, I will. You probably get into that samadhi, you would know also, but will it be your true self? No. What will it do? You will become, and you'll becoming means you may become powerful, you may become something else. When you drop this body, you will become something more powerful, something more divine, let's say, but you will not be the self. But if you begin your journey in some other ways, using some other states, or rather, you aimed at something which pertains to self itself, like faith is Shraddha. Shraddha, Virya, Smriti, Samadhi, Pragyapurva, Itaresha. I mean, what is to be had faith on? That is what. Which Shakti, whose memory, whose concentration or absorption, where we want to be absorbed, which, Pragya means intellect or higher intellect, or this is also an higher discrimination. Which discrimination? These all things should point towards yourself, then only. I'll tell you. Shraddha. I'll just explain one and then we will finish it for today. We will take it up next time. It's enough for today, I know. But just one word. Shraddha. If you wish to understand what Shraddha is, Shraddha can be in anything, in any process, in any event, in any unknown field. Shraddha means movement, when courage to move in a direction where you are ignorant. That is called Shraddha. For example, you take a flight from, let's say, Mumbai to Montreal. How you are able to board into that plane? What drives you? What is the force? Is Shraddha. That is the force. Shraddha. You have faith that this aircraft is safe to board, will take me to the destination. It will not crash. This is Shraddha. Understand? In the same way, and while you don't know anything of, you really don't know whether the tank is full, you don't know. Whether aircraft has gone through the regular test checking, you don't know. But you're boarding. Yes or no? This is called faith. So faith can be in anything, in any process, anywhere. Here, the faith, one of the things which is being mentioned, faith, Shraddha, Virya, Smriti, Samadhi, Pragya Purvak, Itaresham. So I'm just giving you one word for that. Shraddha, I, the self, as masters describe, that it is Satchidananda, that it is all knowing, that it is all pervading, that it is the source of all the powers in this world, and that it is the only thing real, it is the only Chetan thing, nothing else. Shraddha. Moving towards that with these kind of attributes given to your own unexperienced self, keeping Shraddha there would take you to that place itself. Shraddha is defined as, now, why Shraddha word is used? Again, you'll have to go back to the another grantha, another scripture, which is called Vivek Chudamani. What is Shraddha? You say, Shastrasya Guruvakyasya Satya Buddhavadharana. Satitaksha, Satitaksha, Sa Shraddha Kathite Sadbhir Yaya Vastu Plabdhate. ये कर्ण पिशाचिनी से पूछ रहा था. दिस इज द श्लोक. आप लोगों से यू कैन गो एंड क्रॉस चेक कि शास्त्रस्य गुरु वाक्यस्य सत्य बुद्धावधारणा. व्हाट इज दिस फर्स्ट सेंटेंस? सत्य बुद्धावधारणा. Whatever my teacher has told, Whatever the scriptures are telling, whatever the Guru lineage is professing is true. Whether I know it or not is true. And that is what there is this self. I don't know myself as yet, but there is this self who has told Guru Maharaj, the scriptures. And scriptures also become of value when they come out of the mouth of your Guru Maharaj. Hmm. They are of value only then, probably, because those scriptures are now being told to you not by the piece of paper or printed letters, but they are coming from a source whom you trust, whom you have put your faith on. So, therefore, you will be able to move towards that self using this power of Shraddha, faith. Although you don't know yourself as yet, but it exists. I am Satchit Anand, Shraddha. Have Shraddha on that. Never challenge it. You say, I am Satchit Anand. Whether I know or not, it is. Whether I have recognized it, seen it, I have ever experimented with it, I have no doubt about it. One more example, and then completely it will be clear. This is very favorite example of mine. None of us have seen electrons, but each one of you will say, I know electrons exist. Who told you? Have you seen? Have you experimented with it? Have you tasted, smelled? Have you touched? No. So how many of you doubt that electrons exist? Now my question is different. Now think about it. Why on earth you don't doubt that electrons exist? Why? Think about it, and then you'll understand what this 20th sutra is talking about. Okay? Thank you so much. Let's pray and then we'll leave. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Pashyantu Bhava Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Om Shivam.